What is a solar site survey? An examination of a property where solar panels are to be installed is known as a solar site survey, and it usually takes place after a sale has been finalized. To construct a plan that is ready for a permit, the main goal of a site survey is to determine whether the preliminary design is workable. In addition to using remote technologies, the exterior site survey can also be carried out by personally visiting the property, as was already described. Depending on the information on the property that is accessible, other survey components might need to be completed in person. Gathering all the necessary information on the property must come first. This includes fundamental information like the street address along with information on nearby utilities and permits. Additionally, you should have the preliminary design and contact with you. This aids in comprehending the specifics and constraints of the proposed project as well as the needs and desires unique to the homeowner. Gathering all the necessary information on the property must come first. This includes fundamental information like the street address along with information on nearby utilities and permits. Additionally, you should have the preliminary design and contact with you. This aids in comprehending the specifics and constraints of the proposed project as well as the needs and desires unique to the homeowner. In order to do some initial assessments and identify roof access points and restrictions, a solar site survey's next step is to gather satellite or aerial imagery of the property. Obtain satellite or airborne pictures of the property. It depends on your search criteria and how you carry out your site assessments as to whether you should use satellite or aerial images. Satellite imagery will work just fine if you only want to glance at the roof briefly before going to the place. Additionally, Google Earth offers free access to satellite imagery for the majority of properties. Aerial photography is a preferable choice, though, if you want to observe the roof in greater depth and utilize the photos to take precise measurements. Aerial photography in high definition from an eagle view. If you do need to go to the location, be sure to prepare all the equipment and materials in advance so you won't need to make a second trip. A brief checklist to go over each time you load up is necessary. The agreement for the solar project or the initial design. Measurement instruments include fiberglass open rail tape, tape measures, and laser distance meters. Tool for assessing shade. Camera or a phone. Ladder. Personal protection equipment, PPE, that is appropriate. Leaflets or promotional materials. Tablet or laptop. Visiting cards. Clipboard and a pencil. The first step is to evaluate the roof's health, including how many layers of asphalt shingles there are, whether you're on-site or utilizing aerial imagery. This is important because the roof must be in sufficient condition to sustain the solar system installation. In order for it to last for the following 25 to 30 years, the typical lifespan of solar panels, it must also be sufficiently new. If not, the panels will need to be taken off when a new roof is needed and then replaced. In light of this, a basic rule is that installing solar panels should start before an asphalt shingle roof is 10 years old or less and in good condition. Taking accurate measurements is the next step after assessing the roof's condition. To calculate the permitted solar module area manually, you'll need to climb up on the roof and measure everything on the roof surface. You must also figure out the area and pitch of the roof, as well as any obstructions like skylights and chimneys. It's always a good idea to use one of the building's corners or edges as your reference point while doing this, and measure all barriers in relation to that location. Future engineers and drafters will find it simpler to precisely convert the information into their CAD program. The following action is to carry out a shade analysis. If you are on the property, identify any trees or nearby structures that are higher than the roof. Next, gather data points all over the roof using a portable device like the Solmetric Sun Eye or Solar Pathfinder tool. Every roof facet should at least have 2 readings taken, one in the middle and one in each of the 4 corners. Make sure to appropriately label the reading's position while recording the data from the readings. When utilizing the gadget, make sure it is level as well, because either of these 2 things might have a big impact on the outcome. To take pictures of every single item if you're conducting your survey in person. During the final design phase, this will enable the engineers and planners to have a better understanding of the project. When doing so, be sure to capture images from both a close-up and a distance. Images taken up close are necessary for capturing details, particularly when it comes to systems like the electrical system. However, images taken from a distance are also crucial, because they show the designers the layout and any other limitations they could be dealing with. The home's electrical system needs to be evaluated as another crucial aspect during a site survey. This will decide how the solar system will be connected to the house's electrical system, and it might also influence the choice of equipment and/or any necessary modifications. Make thorough notes and good images when checking the electrical system in person. You should take up close pictures of the nameplates and specifications. Additionally, several far shots were taken to demonstrate to the designers the available space. Getting the data needed for the structural analysis is the next phase in the site survey process. The structural analysis will determine whether the current structure is capable of supporting the weight and containing any potential rise caused by a retrofit solar system. You must make a note of the type of structure and whether the roof is framed traditionally with rafters or with a truss for this stage. Each roof aspect that will be used for solar energy needs to have its spacing and span noted, as well as the size of the structural members. The last step, if you're conducting the survey manually, is to transfer the data and images you collected on the property into whichever system your business employs. In most cases, this enables the other team members to access the site survey data and proceed with the design and permitting processes. This is another stage that can be bypassed if you're conducting your external site survey remotely. As you can see, there's quite a bit of information gathered during the site survey. Here's a quick roundup of the 10 steps in a solar site survey. Gather information and schedule the appointment. Pull satellite or aerial imagery of the property. Get prepared. Assess the condition of the roof. Take roof measurements and note obstructions. Perform a shade analysis. Take photos of everything. Assess the electrical system. Gather information for structural analysis. Upload information and photos to your system.